Michigan Soccer Central.
Hello, and thank you so much for pressing play on the latest edition of the Michigan Soccer Central Podcast, your weekly dip into the world's game being played right here in the Great Lakes state of Michigan. How's it going? My name's Robert Kerr, your host of the program. As always, hopefully everybody's doing just fine, getting through the winter season. Okay, before we get going, I want to say thank you to my good friend Luke Zagorski for hooking me up with this very cool throwback Wales kit. Enjoy it very much. My first time wearing it on the show for you, buddy. But you are right here locked in Michigan Soccer Central, your place to connect with the entire Michigan soccer community. Whether you're a coach, player, supporter, administrator, any of the above, it's your place to connect. This show, just like all the social media handles, getting as many perspectives and trying to shine a light on as many soccer stories here in the Great Lakes State as possible. On this show, you heard at the very top a short soundbite from former Michigan State Spartan Giuseppe Barone after his man of the match performance for Rapid City FC. Some arena ball action. We'll hear a few minutes of him after that game on Saturday night, a highly entertaining affair I was lucky enough to make it out to. And we also have Coach Javi Bautista, the former DCFC man, is leading the charge for a brand new club, Liquid Football, joining the Midwest Premier League in 2023. And he's on the program to tell us all about that, the very origin of a brand new club. So we're going to get to Coach real quick right now. Then we'll hear from Giuseppe Barone here on the Michigan Soccer Central Podcast. All right, next up on Michigan Soccer Central Podcast, very exciting segment coming up. The announcement of a brand new team here in Metro Detroit. Former DCFC pair leading the charge, and here to talk about it, I got Coach Javi Bautista. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Michigan Soccer Central Podcast, sir.
Thanks, Robert. Glad to be here.
So it seems like you guys have been up to some work behind the scenes. Liquid Football was announced, and you guys have been putting out some fun social media content with some of your foundational staffers. What is Liquid Football?
So Liquid Football just started with an idea that, you know, the people at the bottom, they're the people that you see on the field, the ones that are kind of at the base of everything are the same people that are at the top. So, you know, we've been part of a lot of organizations and a lot of clubs in the past, and I think we've gotten enough experience to know exactly how a club and a team is run. And I think just the only thing that we really haven't been able to do was be the ones at the head of that, you know, at the ones that are making all the decisions and you know, starting it from scratch. So I think it's been a project that we've had in our heads for quite some time, and finally the times have come where we felt like it was an appropriate time to do it.
So it's yourself and former DCFC player George Chamakov, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And then, so the two of you, how did you? So was there like a one moment where, you know, we should start a team, or how did that kind of germinate?
Me and George have always had kind of like an entrepreneurial mindset. Me and him are always talking about the different types of projects and the things that we want to start. And we've been very good friends for a while. I actually played with George at DCFC back in 2015 and 2016. So that's when we met. We just became good friends, and yeah, now that we both have a little bit more time on our hands and we've kind of gone to different stages in our lives, we just sat down at one point and, you know, basically the question was like, it can't be that hard, can it? Can't be that hard to start something and kind of do it the way that we've wanted to do it for a while. And I mean, the one thing that I wanted to make sure that we did was we did it right. We took our time, we planned everything, and we didn't want to rush it because we wanted to do things right. So it started in April. That's when we had our first meeting. And then, we just said, look, a summer season, spring/summer season makes the most sense. So, you know, if we start thinking about it now, it gives us about a year's time to really plan it out and do it right.
And then so now it's mid-January. It's public. It's out there,
Yeah.
and you've joined the league. Tell us, kind of, you've been working on about a year. How did it come to be that you are going to start off in the Midwest Premier League?
Yeah, so we both have experience in the Midwest Premier League. Back in 2021, I was the head coach of the Detroit City FC U23s, which was our reserve team for the first team. And we joined the Midwest Premier League. We had a fantastic experience. I thought the organization was good. The people who were in charge of running the league and making decisions were good people. And yeah, we enjoyed the league, and I always kind of thought, you know what, if there were a time to come that we would start our own team, I think this would be the ideal league for us to play in. So I mean, I reached out to John, who is the current president of the league, and I just told him, I was like, hey, let's just have a conversation and see if you can give me a little bit more insight on how you started, because he started or he's one of the people in charge of the County Soccer Club. Um, so yeah, so I reached out to him and we had a conversation. He gave me some tips, some pointers, and then from there, it just made the most sense to try and join that league.
So as it stands now, do you guys have a home field for 2023?
We're working on it. That's I guess that's the last piece of the puzzle, you could say. We again, as part of doing things right, we wanted to we reached out to so many different places where it wasn't just let's find a field and let's call it home. It was okay, what makes the most sense for what we want to do and what we want the game day experience to look like. So we reached out to probably over 6 or 7 different places that we looked at in the Metro Detroit area that were close enough, to the city, to Detroit. And so now it's just about kind of making the final decision on the pricing and how much that's going to cost us, and also being able to do the things that we want to do in terms of, can we sell some of our merch there? Can we have maybe some vendors come out and sell their products as well? Some of the sponsors. So we're finalizing, and that location should be out and should be finalized hopefully within the next couple weeks.
How receptive were the locations? I'm assuming schools were in the search. How open to a new soccer team were candidate venues?
Yeah, pretty open. It's just kind of hard because you have to get hold of their athletic director, and then you have to go on their school website and figure out who that is and who's in charge of renting out the facility. But fortunately, again, me and George, going off of our contacts that we've built over the last few years here in Michigan, we knew quite a few coaches in the area who are coaching high school or know people who know people, and just put us in touch. So we've been grateful for that.
Yeah, I know there's been that's one of the big pillars of the grassroots and the amateur soccer world, or even the professional world to some degree in this country, is finding that perfect fit that checks all the boxes. It's in budget, and
Yeah,
the schedule is available. It's a lot of things
yeah,
all have to align.
of course, and I think that's been the probably one of the hardest parts, because it's trying to find some place that makes the most sense, that, like you said, ticks all the boxes. And it's difficult because you would think that there's so many different places that you could look at, but in reality, now with so many different teams as well being in the area, it's you're looking at one place, you're like, oh, that's nice, but this team already plays on it, or these two teams already play on it. And we kind of wanted to go somewhere where we can call our home, and we don't have to share with 5 or 6 other different clubs that are trying to use it.
Yeah, gets to be pretty crazy logistically. And then what if you get mid-season, there's a postponed game or something, and you're changing last minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope that you get your ideal pick on venue. Can you give any hints as you're looking more city-based or more suburban-based?
Yeah, so all of the locations that we're looking at are within about 15 minutes of Detroit, of the city. So you know, there's the two main locations that we're looking at right now are, one's on the east side of Detroit, which is right on the border of Detroit, and then the other one is a little bit more towards the west side. So it's kind of a little bit like they're on opposite sides of the city, but both of them are really close to the city. So that was the idea, is that wherever we end up, all of our players, and there's enough fans and people there that they could make it without having to make a super far drive into the middle of nowhere.
So what's your guys' ideal goal? Like, where is it that you want to take this?
So the what we decided was let's just focus on year one. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's not think about, let's do youth teams and let's do a women's team and let's do a reserve team. Like we just wanted to start. Let's start with a men's amateur, semi-professional team that plays in the summer. But the biggest thing was we have enough experience, I think, and enough context here to make it a competitive team right from the beginning. Um, so that was the biggest thing is let's put ourselves in a good spot to make a competitive run for the title right from year one.
I saw that you guys are doing tryouts. When is that? You want to tell us what like that's essentially kind of like your guys' first public
Right.
event,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, so we're excited about that. So the tryouts are going to be March 19th. It's a Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. And those are going to be held at Schoolcraft College at the St. Joe Sports Dome. So it's going to be inside. So it's going to be good because of it's hard to predict the weather in March. So we'll have them there. And yeah, I mean, tryout spots are already, it's already filling up. And I think thanks to the base of how we started on social media and the things that we've been posting and the content we've been trying to put out and, the mission and everything like that, I think it's become very attractive quite quickly. So we're really excited. I mean, we're a little bit less than 2 months to the tryouts, but I think we're going to end up closing the registration a bit before the tryouts, just because of the interest that we've had so far. So we're excited. Like you said, it's going to be our very first showing where we're wearing liquid football gear and the apparel, and people are going to see kind of what we're about. So we're excited. We're having meetings constantly to figure out what that's going to look like and how we can make that the best experience for the players and the staff as well.
Yeah, I've enjoyed your social media stuff so far in the short window that you guys have been really like, hitting the ground. Something with your assistant coach. And then also you were talking about your gear. I saw you had a photo of the badge. Does that mean was that that looked like it was stitching? Does that mean there's a shirt?
Yeah, so that was one of the other things that we started right away was the jersey, the design, the uniform in general. Um, George owns Champion Grind, which is a sports clothing company, and he knows that whole process really really well. So we just started designing a kit, and we've gone through 3 samples already. So I was like, look, it's not just about a kit that the players are going to wear, but I think it's also something that the average, just the regular fan or anybody on social media or just anybody out there, regardless of whether they can attend a match or not, will look at this and say, "Wow, I want to have that in my closet as well." Um, and so, yeah, we've had 3 samples. We've made changes every single sample. We started making. I think the first one we made like 10 different changes, and then we made 5, and then we made 3. And fortunately, now we're at the point where I think we finalized the design. Now it's just about putting the sponsors out there.
Is there anything else that you want to tell the listeners and viewers about this new football club in its origin state as we are?
Yeah, I think that just the biggest thing and just our focus for the club is just let's just do things differently. Let's not build a club the traditional way just because that's the way it's been done. Let's do it because this is the way we want to do it. And as I said, we've seen a lot of organizations and clubs that maybe put the business side of it first, and for us it's always been the product on the field and making sure we take care of our players and our staff. So that's the way we're approaching it. To everyone who's come on board, all the people who are going to come help us out for year one, um, we've the initial conversations have been like, look, if you're going to come and join us and you're going to come help out and you're going to dedicate your time to this project, we're going to give you a seat at the table. So all of our conversations are wide open. We don't hide anything from our staff and the volunteers and the people who are helping us out, so that hopefully that they can get as much experience as possible for whatever their next job is or whatever their next experience is at their next club. So that's kind of the mentality behind liquid football.
So if it's starting with the players, is that like creating like the best experience for them to, if it's a summer league, it's, transition from high school to college or in between college seasons or stuff like that. Is it for their experience, or is it like you want to actually have the most competitive like successful team? If it's players up, is it from a success or training or experience sort of? How do you mean when you say a player first?
So I think it's one of the biggest questions was how do we make sure that the players, all they have to worry about is performing, so what does that look like? So that means we take care of all the external factors, as many as we possibly can. We do our best in terms of the training environment. Fortunately, George and myself have had experience at a professional team before in Detroit City FC, so we've learned a lot. So I think it's just how can we make them enjoy the experience, have a great spring, summer, and hopefully that allows us to perform. And I think part of that is how we build a team. So one of the ways is we're thinking is we're going to try and get a lot of really good high level college players who are in the summer ready to prepare for the next for their upcoming season. But at the same time, we're going to get a lot of experienced guys who are maybe ex pros, who are in the area who can't commit to a 9-month season, but they can commit to the summer. And mix those guys, let the older guys show them a little bit of what they know to the younger guys, and then the younger guys push the older guys to stay fit and stay in shape so that they can perform also at a good level. So I think mixing that is going to give us the best product on the field.
Well, your time at Detroit City FC, what's the thing from that time that you think that you'll be able to most apply to this liquid football?
A little bit of everything, really. I mean, the biggest one is we know what a good team looks like. We were lucky enough to have a lot of success at Detroit City FC while we were there. So we know what it takes to win, to succeed, to be a club that is continuously pushing forward and pushing the boundaries of what can be done. So we saw that with the owners and how they ran the club. At the same time, we saw that with the players and how they played and how they performed on the pitch. So I think having all of that allows us to come down to the MWPL and really know exactly what we need to do in order to be successful.
Well, Coach Javi Bautista, the winner of the best headphones on the podcast award. Thank you so much for telling me about this project. This is exciting stuff. I'm an advocate for more soccer, the better, and I appreciate you taking a different angle to this. I wish you all the best, and let me know when you get your home base. I'll be sure to shout it out.
I appreciate that, Robert. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Big thanks to Coach Javi Bautista of Liquid Football for joining the show. Next up, we've got a few minutes with Giuseppe Barone. The former Michigan State Spartan is now the captain of Rapid City Football Club, a first-year arena soccer team playing at the MSA Sports Spot in Greater Grand Rapids. And I was lucky enough to catch up with him for a few minutes after his hat-trick man of the match winning performance on Saturday night. Back here post-game after Rapid City FC's second home match, an impressive 9-2 win, and I'm with man of the match Giuseppe Barone, hat-trick on the night. Tell me about that game. What a huge step from that first home game.
Yeah, I think that we're finally starting to, as a team, gel chemistry-wise, so I think it's showing in the performances now, in terms of fitness, in terms of playing with each other, learning each other, how we move, how we pass, so I think that was shown tonight.
Yeah, and I got to say that third goal, the shorthanded one, you were on a two-man rush, centered to you. You touched it over the defender and then finished with the left foot, I believe.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of walked it through, but that was beautiful. You guys were really on fire in the second quarter. Tell us about, that's kind of where the game opened up there.
Yeah, I think that's the joy of indoor soccer, is you get those opportunities to really show yourself, and you get them more, I think, in indoor soccer. So I think that's where you get to show yourself, your creativity, and kind of have a little fun with it, and that's exactly what happened.
So what overall, 4 games into this Major League indoor soccer season, brand new club, I guess what made you join up, and then how do you feel about how it's going right now?
First and foremost, the GM, Louis Stevenson, he's been awesome with us. He's been so accommodating. He's been there for us, a ton of players, and so first and foremost, that was the reason why I joined the team, because I knew how good he would be to us. And then on top of that, now the coaching staff, the players, it's been really good, and it's been a family environment. So nothing but good things for me.
So a few of you guys have played with each other before, but did you guys feel like, so you definitely feel like your chemistry is really growing? Like, what was like the turning point where you guys feel like it was really starting to come on?
Yeah, I think it's still growing, right? I think that, just with training and games, we've been together, I think, a few months now. So it's starting to, fitness is starting to get there. We're getting used to the physicality that it takes, like the short bursts and just that different kind of physicality that it takes. So I think that's what's been playing a factor.
Because that's kind of different. A lot of these guys aren't necessarily long-time indoor guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Like most of us have played outdoor together. We'll play some indoor, here and there, but nothing, official or structured like this. So I think that, having 2 months together has been big, and you're starting to see the results from that.
Not only did you guys really do well in the attacking third, you seem dominant from start to finish tonight. Also, what can you say? I mean, with there being 5 field players, you kind of have to do a little bit of everything. You guys also did a lot of block shots and there's a lot of good defensive speed there. You guys didn't really let a lot of breakaways happen.
Yeah, I think that's the big difference between this game and our first home game. I think we gave up 7 or 8 goals in our first home game. This one too. So, I mean, defense coming first and realizing that that's going to help us, transition into offense. And I think that's exactly what we did. We were way more intense defensively, which helped us in the result of the game.
Yeah, I definitely saw a big difference from the first game to the second. Obviously, in the result with how many goals let in, but the only goals they had were from free kicks.
100%.
And then you never really allowed them many shots when you had the shots your goalkeepers came up for it.
Yep, 100%, yeah. So I think credit to our defenders, credit to everyone up the field, and I think our goalie came up big a few times, came out big and made some big saves, even took one on the head one time. So, yeah, all around we were very intense defensively.
So next game is on the road against Cleveland, the only team that you guys have lost to. So what do you think about that game coming up?
I think it's the same thing we approach this game. It's just defensively first, intensity defensively, and everything else I think will take care of itself.
All right, good luck. Thank you for helping me out on Michigan Soccer Central.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Big thanks to my guests this week, Coach Javi Bautista of Liquid Football and Giuseppe Barone of Rapid City FC. Thank you so much for sharing your perspectives and your story at this moment with me and Michigan Soccer Central Podcast. Much appreciated. If you check out the Michigan Soccer Central socials, you'll see our call for recruit player profiles. It's the pinned tweet on the Twitter, as I'm sure it is across all the other media channels. If you're a 23, 24, or 2025, send in a profile or send in your information to Michigan Soccer Central at gmail.com, and they'll post that on the socials and get yourself out there and help your recruitment a little bit. And there's also some video up on the socials right now. Looks like we had some folks out at the Michigan Hawks Girls Soccer Winter Combine, seeing a lot of good goals posted from that. So be sure to check out at MI Soccer Central across all the media platforms. And be sure to check out the Michigan Soccer Central YouTube, trying to make as many video episodes as possible. And be sure to subscribe over there. It'll just help us keep going and try to make Michigan Soccer Central an even bigger asset to the Michigan soccer community, trying to keep this growing more and more. And speaking of which, helping us grow, thank you to Jenny Hajnaki for editing this program. As always, as without you, this show does not go. And the MSC Court team members, thank y'all very much too. And I guess until next week, everybody, please enjoy your soccer.
Michigan Soccer Central.